That's the moon through the trees. And now we're on the trail. The forest trail. So it says right here that the trail is closed to public access because the bridge is out. But obviously we won't go as far as crossing the bridge. We'll just walk down here, observing nature around us. Possibly do some audio recording. And I'll be honest with you, I haven't really read any of the reports of the Caddo critter or Bigfoot sightings in and around Caddo Lake. So I can't say I know much about it, other than there have been a few reports. And I'm sure it's spooky. And every sound I hear has got me kind of jumpy in this dark forest. Despite the fullness of the moon, it is dark and mysterious here. And I am kind of afraid of what I may encounter. But it's important to read the dog. Watch his ears, his nose. He's got scent of something. He knows something's out there. Watching for his reaction. That's the key for doing research of Bigfoot or just backpacking and hiking with a dog. Observing nature in general. Comes down to how aware you are of the dog. What his emotions convey. Because what he conveys through his alertness, through the rotation of his ears, the sniffing of his nose, that indicates where you should be looking. You should follow his lead. And if he's afraid, maybe that's enough reason for you to be as well. Have faith in the animal companion that you share on your adventures with, and that could keep you alive. And it might present you with an opportunity to see or hear something unusual or just interesting. What's out there, buddy? This is quite the descent, which means it's going to be fun climbing on the way back up, since the bridge is out. I know I'm breaking the rules here, disrespecting the request of the sign, but if Bigfoot isn't around, if Bigfoot is in and around Caddo Lake, I think you'd have a better chance of seeing them in the off-limit sites, right? This is super spooky. I'm not ready for an encounter. You ever have that time where you're pursuing the idea of Bigfoot. You're searching for Bigfoot, and you get a little too deep in the woods, and it's a little bit darker than you want it to be, and so you secretly wish you weren't going to see one. See, now this says this is a bridge. I'm afraid this bridge is the one that's out. It doesn't look like it, but I don't know. It seems like a safe bridge to me. Maybe they just done the repairs. It looks like a new railing. Doesn't quite match that one. Alright. Of course, there might be several bridges on this route. Bandit's really sniffing the air. There might be something out here. Spiderweb. It's been a while since anything's moved through this part. At least a day. What you smell, buddy? Could be an animal scent marking. Could be a variety of different things. A raccoon or a coyote. Aha! This is the bridge, and it is definitely out. Looks like a tree has fallen across it. Well, there's this trail which leads this way now. What? What? Hey, don't you want to go this way? Come on. Things moving around out here. Just be a leaf falling. Hold on. This looks more like a washout. It's becoming too rugged for me to think it's a trail. I mean, it might still be one, but this might be... I've gotten lost like this before. I'm gonna back up. Head back to the road. See, this seems like a trail, but it could be a waterway path. And you get run down water after a rain, and run down the ridges of hills and stuff like that. That could be what that is. And even if it is a trail, you know, I've gone on what I thought was established forest trail, and turned out later to be an animal trail used by a deer. I've almost gotten lost in huge tracts of wilderness following the path of an animal because it looks so similar to the path of humans. So I've learned from that mistake. I think I'm going to head back out of here. It's a little too dark. It's a little too thick in this forest to want to get turned around. I just heard a knocking go back and forth. First on my right, than on my left. And towards my left, I believe, is actually the campground. But as to what is on the right, I think I'm on the edge of the state park. There it is. A very distinct knock. No, I haven't tried to do any knocking or anything like that. What you're hearing is whatever is naturally occurring. I'm going to sit down and just observe. There it is. Further out on the water. Maybe on the opposite bank. Walk out here, be very quiet on this pier. Just be an observer of something out here on the edge of the state park. In the Caddo Lake area. If these are tree knocks, simply amazing. Now, some of these areas, I noticed there were some residential areas, but really they looked like they were in disrepair. I really can't say if anybody lived in these areas down there or not. Going down those banks, they looked lonely. They looked desolate. They looked barren. I can't say that the structures I saw were still housing people. And there's a good chance that the only thing coming from that direction is wild. But I'm going to shut off my light and I'm going to be quiet. Hopefully I'll hear more knocking sounds. or 4 knocks there. But the last one was not me at all. I don't know what's going on here. See, there's a trouble. Because there might still be people from the Bigfoot convention, still here from the Bigfoot conference. They might be adding to the confusion. There's just one in front of us again. "23-minute recording. I hope these are picking up. If not, that's going to be a shame, because I'd hate to be recording this much and have all of the sound drowned out by the insects and the road. But I am definitely hearing knocks. I am definitely having some sort of luck here. Wrong sound. I didn't know that was metal. Another knock.
Whoop!
Well,
Whoop!
I can't say I have much confidence in actually vocalizing and making whoops. But something is potentially making those knocking sounds. What was that? I've gotten a response.
Whoop!
There's a train going through. Whoa. Whoa. 2 different locations. I got 2 different locations, one right along the bank and one inland in the thicket a little bit. Whoop! Whoop! Trying to establish an imitation pattern. Play. Maybe just establish some curiosity, but I'm afraid to stop recording. I'm afraid that I'll miss any knocking sounds or vocalizations or knocking down of trees or anything. And once again, I don't know what I'm picking up on the camera and what I'm not picking up. And I don't know. No way. No way. Something knocked over a tree out there. I don't know if I caught that, but... Oh, okay, so I'm hearing lots of knocks from more than one location. And I just heard a tree fall down. But I don't know if any of this is picking up on the camera. I don't know if any of this is picking up on the recorder. There's so much background noise between the crickets and the train tracks and everything else. I don't know if any of this is picking up. Woof. Woof. Trying not to get paranoid. I know I hear dogs barking. But I thought I heard... Never mind what I thought I heard. Whoop! Something big is moving out of the water. I believe it's swimming across. Whatever it is, it's swimming across. There's something over there. But honestly, it sounds like a heron or a large bird. So, could the bird be responsible for that splashing noise? Or did something make a mad dash? From one point to another, and in the process startle the bird. No, I'm getting ahead of myself, because here's the thing. It was a loud knock. Here's the thing. Bird could have had a prey or something. Could have grabbed a fish. Could have caused a lot of splashing, but no, whatever I heard, something plunged in the water. Like a full-out splash into the water. And it splashed and it splashed as it was attempting to... It was one of those things. It's like... Animals are not that loud. You hear a deer jump in the water. It propels itself with its legs, submerged underwater. So you hear that initial splash, but then a dog, a deer, a fish, once its swimming apparatuses are underwater, it's quiet as it breaks the surface and goes across. This was different. This was a jump, a deliberate jump, or maybe it could have fallen, but it sounded like splash, and then splash, 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 rhythmic splashing. It's not indicative of something flailing around trying to get out of the water. It was indicative of something swimming in a way that it's its arms and legs, or its legs, or its wings, or whatever were breaking the surface at regular intervals to swim. In other words, what I'm trying to say is that splashing sound that I heard, I don't know. Once again, I don't know if my hearing is better than this mic, but if that picked up, there was something unusual about that swimming. Because when I heard it, I immediately thought of not like a backstroke, but like a regular swimmer's stroke. It sounded like something was tearing up the water, digging in and trying to cross something. And I honestly don't think it was across the channel of the lake. That's a pretty wide distance, but this thing, whatever it was large and it was swimming fast. I haven't heard any knocks, except for that last loud one. But I don't know what's going on anymore. I've been out here for over an hour, and I'm utterly confused, and I haven't seen anything, but I've heard some very, very loud splashing, which I'll admit, hey, it could be an alligator. And what sounds like a swimmer's stroke, maybe it's just the propelling of a tail slightly above the water level. Okay. So I know it's dark and you can't see me well, but I'm going to drive back to my campsite now after an hour and 40 minutes of attempting to record tree knocks and trees falling over and swimming in the water by something large. I'm going back to camp, and it's not that the tree knocks have subsided. They haven't. But I figured it'd be best if I just came back in the morning and looked for tracks or something. I'm tired. I can't think of anything really occurring. But I think I'm just going to go back and... I don't know how to make sense of what I was observing just then. I mean, knocks and giant splashes. I mean, it could be unrelated. I mean, there could be any manner of creatures out there. A big gator sliding in, and it's just the splashes were... I mean, it was like ker-splash, and then chop, 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 like as in like splash, 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 like something swimming, but not like a quadruped with its legs underneath it, submerged, doggy paddling or whatever. It was like, I don't know. And then there was that split second that sounded unusual, and then it ultimately ended up just sounding like dogs. I mean, it's one of those things. It's like too often you might be hearing tree knocks, and then every other sound that you make becomes Bigfoot. Now look, there's a guy walking around with a dog and a flashlight out here. I wonder if he's the so-called investigator. I mean, the fact is, we don't know. We don't know how many Bigfoot people are in here. But I think it's safe to say that there were some sounds and there were some behaviors on the edge of the park, away from the campsites, away from the trails, that were highly unusual. I'm just going to tell you, I don't think a Bigfoot researcher would have any motive to push down a tree. That seems to be a behavior that's demonstrated primarily by potential Bigfoot, right? I mean, that's the way I would think it. You know, you don't want to go too far in mimicking their behavior. If you're trying to call one, I don't know. I'm tired. I'm a little bit hungry, but ultimately I'm ready for bed, and I want to be able to get up tomorrow with enough time to check out that area. That's the plan, and I hope it all comes together. But it was a weird night, and it will be a night that I will remember.